Thank you for joining me today to make a delicious peach and rhubarb pie. Now these are peaches that I froze earlier in the summer because I knew I was going to be making different kinds of pies or cobblers throughout the winter. And I'm just going to show you how to do a frozen peach and rhubarb pie. So these are the frozen peaches and rhubarb I took out. I actually have a few plums off my tree, which I had mixed in with some of the peaches. So this will be a pretty tasty pie. I kind of semi-defrosted it. They're all, just really nice peaches that I had from last year or from the summer. And what I did was I poured the peaches into a plain pie shell pan just to make sure that I had enough peaches. You want to make sure that the peaches really cover your pan by about 1 inch because they're gonna cook down, and you want to have enough peaches that you really enjoy your pie. So having said that, I wanted to make this really simple. So I have a frozen pie shell that I'm going to be putting these in, and I defrosted them a little bit in the microwave. But like I said, this is a frozen peach pie recipe, so I'm going to just kind of break them up a little bit and show you how I do this. I'm just using a knife right now just as I break some of this up. These have not been sugared. They haven't been treated in any way. I just froze them over the summer, and this is what I ended up with. So these are rhubarb that I grew, and peaches off of 3 different trees. I actually have 3 different fruit trees, and they all have a really delicious peach. I have a white Hancock, which is an extremely sweet peach. And then I've also got an Alberta peach, a Hancock, and a little Pixie Mini, and they all give a ton of really amazing fruit. So let me show you my little mixture I put together and how I make the pie, and I hope you enjoy this. So to this recipe, I'm adding a 1/2 cup of cornstarch, 1 cup of white sugar. I've got about a teaspoon of cinnamon. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and just a dash of nutmeg. So all I'm going to do is just mix these ingredients together. And typically I like to use tapioca when I have any kind of a fruit pie like this, but I just happen to be out of that today. So, whatever kind of thickening agent, you can use flour, you can use cornstarch, you can use tapioca, whatever you like. I've even heard of people putting chia seeds in there. So I'm going to use cornstarch because I do think it's like the next best thing. So I'm just trying to get some of these lumps out. And I'm going to pour this into my peaches, like so. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is just mix this up. And it's okay that your peaches are defrosting because you do want that liquid. It's going to mix together with the cornstarch, and it's really going to make a nice kind of it thickens it up, but it does make it extremely delicious. So all we're doing is mixing up our fruit. I want to make sure mainly that I get the rhubarb mixed in with the different peaches. I don't want tons of bites of rhubarb when, no peach. But this is basically how it's going to look. And then all we're going to do is just pour it into our pan, like so. And if you notice, I have a lot of fruit in my pie. Like I said, it's gonna cook down, and that's okay. You'll be surprised when this pie's finished just how much it cooks down into this crust. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of even it out a little bit. I think a spoon would be good. Got a couple big bites of peach here. Now this is kind of my sampling I'm doing for Christmas. I wanted to make a peach pie for one of my Christmas pies. I'm gonna do a pumpkin and I think I'm gonna do a peach. So that's it. All I'm gonna do is just leave that. I've got a pre-made pie crust that I'm gonna unroll as soon as it unravels a little bit more. And I'm gonna put that over the top of it and show you how I seal up my pie for the oven. Right now, I'm just gonna preheat the oven to 400 degrees and we'll get started. So as you can see, the dough has, defrosted enough that I could put it on the pie. So these are very, very easy to use. You just kind of lay them over the pie. Now, if you're doing any kind of lattice work on a peach pie, you don't have to vent your pie because you're gonna have lots of air that's gonna be able to come in and out of your pie. But when you have a solid crust, which is what I'm gonna do today, you wanna make sure that you put some vents in your pie. So all I'm gonna do right now is just go around the edges. Now I've got, like I said, this is kind of a cheater's pie today because all I'm gonna do is go around here, and I didn't make this pie crust. It was actually a frozen rollout, and then I had a frozen deep dish, which, like I said, this is a sample to see how it does for Christmas. And on Christmas, I'm actually gonna make my pie crusts myself. But I really wanted to see how this recipe would come out, ahead of time. So all I'm doing is tucking these edges under. And there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can use the back of a fork, you can use your thumb, however you want to do it. The main thing that I'm trying to do is just make sure that I get some kind of contact with the bottom of the crust. That way, I'm gonna leak as little as possible when I'm cooking my pie. So, just as a precaution, I've put this foil underneath it just in case. It is a really thick pie. I've got a lot of peaches and plums and rhubarb and everything in here. So I'm gonna try to make this as, easy and mess-free as possible. So today we're just gonna make a real easy edge. All I'm doing is just putting my finger between 2 points just to make the pie crust. And that just kind of makes it really nice. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I've got 1 egg and about a tablespoon of water. And all I'm gonna do is brush some of this. All I'm gonna do is brush some of this on my pie because I do like that look of a nice browned pie. You don't have to do this if you don't want it. You can make an egg wash with water and egg. You can make it with milk and egg, whatever you like. This is your pie. Do whatever makes you happy. This is what I really like to do. It makes a beautiful pie when I'm all done. And everybody seems to enjoy my pies. And I think a lot of that is just because I have so many fruit trees out in my backyard. I do grow a lot of my own fruit. I preserve it over the summer. And so come winter, there's always a great selection of things for pie. So what I'm gonna do is just make some slits in my pie. You can do any design you like. My whole goal is that we just get air coming in and out, so I don't really care if it's a fancy design today, but we do want to make sure that we're venting this pie. So I'm getting ready. I'm going to put it in the oven, And again, I think I said I was gonna cook this at 400, but you're actually gonna cook it for 15 minutes at 425. And then you're gonna, turn it down and cook it for up to another hour. And because it's frozen, it may take a little longer, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I may have to put some foil over the top so nothing burns, but I'll show you what it looks like as soon as I get it out of the oven. Another quick hack that I do is I take the leftover egg that I was using to coat the top of the pie, and instead of throwing it away, I actually just made a quick little breakfast taco. It's morning time, so I'm gonna have this for breakfast and then show you something else I'm gonna work on while we're waiting for our pie to cook. So one of the things that my husband and I do to save money is that we buy food boxes, and it's usually food that is about to expire or is kind of at its life. So I got these bananas, and obviously I can't eat this many bananas myself in a couple of days, and they're very ripe. So I decided I'm gonna cut them up for smoothies and just throw them in the freezer. Then I'm gonna put them in a bag after they're frozen, and I'll show you what they look like. This is just a great way to preserve your fruits and vegetables. I use my freezer quite a bit, and rather than letting things go bad, I really like to try to use up as many things as I can. And you can see these bananas are, they're ripe, they look wonderful. I mean, I definitely don't want to throw them away. And if I'm making, like I said, I do make a lot of homemade ice cream for the kids. It's not traditional ice cream because I don't put milk and sugar in it, but I do use a lot of fruits off my trees that I just, throw in the blender, and they don't really seem to know the difference as long as it's in a ice cream form. So I'm gonna get this done, and I'll show you what it looks like as soon as it's finished. So the most important thing about freezing fruit when you're flash freezing it to get it ready for smoothies and breads and things like that is that you just try to lay them out so that they get plenty of air, and you'll be surprised. These will freeze beautifully. We'll put them in a bag and they'll be ready for whatever we need. Well, my pie, it looks like it cooked great, except for there are several cracks along the top. So I'm glad I did a sample before I actually made my real pie for Christmas. I'm gonna give it a try tonight, but I'm gonna wait until after dinner, so I'll show you how it looks once I cut into it. But it does look good. It also looks like it kind of oozed out along the side, and there's quite a bit of sticky on the bottom. So we'll just let it cool off a bit, and we'll try it a little bit later and see how the pie tastes. I think it's gonna be good. It definitely smells good and doesn't look too good as far as the cracking goes. I think maybe there might have been too many peaches. So, I didn't get a good fit trying to, get the pie crust all tucked in. So I think that might be part of the problem, but what can you say? We'll give it a try tonight and I'll let you know. Well, this is how my peach and rhubarb pie came out. It actually came out really good. The crust is pretty flaky. Did split a little bit on top, but I don't think it's gonna affect anything. I'm just gonna put a little scoop ice cream on it and give it a try. All right, I'm gonna give it a try and let you know how the pie came out. Kind of warm, I just put it in the microwave. Mmm. That's delicious. Give it a try. I hope you like it. Have a good day.